Have with us Michael Lambert, the chairman of the European and United Kingdom Federation. Michael, welcome to the program. The purpose of the visit, fact-finding mission, in order to find out what?
I think it was to give the support to the Gibraltar Federation, who had applied to run the European 3 years ago and run it for next year in 1998. We gave them 2 years to establish themselves, and now we've come to support them in their quest to run the European next year.
What have you seen here that makes you feel we could organise a tournament such as the Europeans and perhaps even the World Championships?
To start with, the European is a collection of European countries who are coming here to play. Gibraltar has a very fine reputation for its hospitality, and I think the pool players would look forward to coming here. You have facilities that the pool players like. You've got small bars they can roam and play in. You've got facilities, the hotels are quite nice, and I do feel that it would give them a boost before they start playing in the winter months, and it would give them a boost for the season, if you like.
Logistically, how do you see Gibraltar being able to face organising such an event?
I think with the help of the Minister of Sport and the Tourism Board, and the enthusiasm of their main committee, who I've met, I do believe that they can establish themselves and run it, with the help of, obviously, the main committee, which is stationed in UK.
Staying with logistics, you have a few venues in mind. You have visited at least one, and there's another two that you will be visiting after tonight. In terms of hardware, space, tables, organisers, marshals, referees, is that all down to the local federation, or will they be getting a helping hand from the European?
It will come from the local federation. They will run the tournament themselves, but obviously will have help from probably the main promoter and the main, shall we say, tournament organiser from the UK if they require it.
Obviously, the quality of the players that we would be seeing here, and I fancy there would be quite a handful coming over for such a competition, the quality of the players would be rather outstanding. We have had a chance to see two professionals who are currently on the rock with you. And how do you think we could measure up to such standards?
Well, I think if we've already established that Gibraltar have been to 3 European and 2 World Championships, and have their standard of play has improved, no doubt, over the last 2 years. I think that probably the 32 professionals who will be incorporated in the national sides will be here on display, and they will be able to play them. And I think also that the youngsters in Gibraltar will have the opportunity to see first-class players playing.
What would we have to do in order to maintain current standards and then further improve our standards to become more competitive at that level?
I think basically the establishment really of a venue of the federation itself, where they could have the juniors and the youth improvements and bring them into play early, where they don't have the opportunity at this moment.
Is there a system of coaching at certain levels that Gibraltar could benefit from?
Yes, there are professionals who do standard coaching in the United Kingdom who would be most willing to come out on a basis of helping to coach the juniors and the seniors, obviously, if they needed it.
And from what you've come across from our national side and from what you have seen here so far, what kind of a future do you see for pool in Gibraltar as far as the development of players and their competitiveness?
Well, I would say that their standard has improved over the last 2 years. There is a particular young lady who I watched play in the ladies' competition in the World Championships. I do believe will benefit from the fact that she has the chance to play against better players and will one day be a great lady player.
And starting tomorrow, what should we be doing in order to get all this off the ground? The competition, improving standards and so on. Is money involved in this?
Of course there's money. Money is always the criteria of anything, really. It's trying to establish the fact that you have to have sponsors. It's the lifeblood of the sport, really. and without those, I mean, you can forget the sport. I think we are very, very lucky with our sponsorship, and I hope that Gibraltar will be extremely lucky as well.
And you hope to be and you hope to be here next year as well, hopefully.
I'm looking for it with delight.
Well, we are going to have a look and see how it's done by this young professional. His name is Pat the Chat O'Kane, and he took just a little over 2 minutes to clear all the yellows, all the reds and the black, giving all those who had gathered there a little early an inside view of what it's like to pot quickly. He is the speed pool champion, and he wasn't running around the table as much as he normally does, but he certainly didn't hesitate, just taking quick aim and shooting, knowing well in advance which ball he was going to pot next. There were quite a few onlookers at the Firkin on Saturday evening. This, for me, was the ball of the frame, as it were. Very difficult one. Long pot, and not only is it long, but it's got to cover the middle pocket as well, and the slightest deviation would mean the ball ending up in the middle of the table instead of in this bottom right-hand pocket. Still going. Excellent work of the cushions, excellent work with chalk and tip, putting the white ball exactly where he wanted it, and most of the people there in awe of this man's potting power. There is on the black just to finish.
Well, after that awesome exhibition of sinking balls, Pat O'Kane is with me. Pat, welcome to the Rock. 4th ranked in the world, I understand. How long does it take to achieve such high standards on the pool table?
It took me 3 years to get into the top 8, as luck would have it, and I've been in the top 8 now for the last 9 since then.
How many hours practice do you still do? Because no doubt to stay up there you need to spend a lot of time with the cue at the table.
Well, I don't do a lot of practicing because I'm doing exhibitions all the time, so I'm sort of using that as practice. But I'm not saying practice, you shouldn't practice. If any sort of youngster or anything like that wants to play pool, they've got to practice a lot. When I first started, I was sort of 5-6 hours a day. As I say, with the exhibitions now, I don't really practice a lot.
Have you had a chance to see any of the local players?
I've seen them there. They've been coming, I think it's about 2 years now. I remember meeting them in France the first time, and there's a couple of very good ones. But as I say, they're getting better and better.
What do they need to do to sort of get closer to any significant standard in order to be able to compete for the top 4 places in Europe, for example?
Really, they've got to play against better players, which they will be, hopefully, if we get this competition over here. And then hopefully they'll be playing better players. As I say, like you've got Leo the Hat, who's just moved over here, I believe. So a bit of luck, Leo will be doing a bit of touring round as well.
We'll be seeing you next year at the Europeans then?
I wouldn't miss it. I love it already. I've been over here 3 days now. Probably the best 3 days I've had away, actually. I love it. Got pool, drink, sun. What more could you ask?